What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. This video is a quick little update. I like updating to what's going on inside the comment section because it also kind of turns into like a little forum. People talking back and forth. And sometimes I'll see something pop up there that's interesting. And how I do these videos in general is something comes to my mind and I make the video. So sometimes I make a couple videos a day, one video a day, none a day, 5 a day, whatever. So this is, something that popped up that I saw that I thought maybe I should address because that Rich Pena, whatever his name is, the guy from Mutant, excuse me, with all the tattoos was talking about on the Drazen channel. And it's Marcus Del Rey, 1988. Says, my forearms are fucking huge, but he's not sure if I'm a little huskier right now. Husky is something I've never been called. I was a skinny kid that built myself up into a bigger guy, but I've always had muscle underneath the fat. Husky's when you're fat with no muscle. That's the husky look. But okay, husky, whatever. So I'm like 240 right now. I compete at about 201, 202, somewhere in there. I'll make the light heavies and go back up. So I'm about 35 pounds heavier than I normally am on stage, which is about where my body likes to sit between the water and the fat that I put on, etc. So he says, my forearms look puffy, and to me, and I recall Rich Piana talking about Synthol and how it gave his biceps a better peak. But it made his bicep worse because it made his bicep puffy looking, and it wasn't very vascular because of the Synthol. Due to this, it makes me ponder if you injected Synthol into your forearms. I'm not an expert or want to come off as a know-it-all, just layman and you can kick my ass. Okay, well, Marcus Del Rey, 1980, excuse me. Why the hell would I put Synthol in my forearms? That makes no sense whatsoever. You say my forearm looks puffy? Well, maybe it's because you get some weird lighting or whatever, but if you notice, anywhere you touch it is very, very hard. It's full on the inside, too. So, I mean, it's a big forearm. That's what I have. And I don't know anybody that shoots Synthol into their forearms. That doesn't make any sense. There's no point of doing it because it's not judged in a competition. And, girls don't go crazy over it. It's not an aesthetic look to have big forearms. It's just, it happens. It's like Frank McGrath. He just has them, okay? My wrists are very, very small. You can see them compared to my hand. And where my forearm comes up, this is actually the muscle of my forearm. I mean, it's just the way my forearm is built. There's no Synthol in there. But I will address Synthol because I promise you guys from the very beginning of Bios3 Raw TV that I would bring you the straight scoop, raw, unedited, and truth. I have used Synthol before. Yes, I have used it. There was a message board quite a while ago called Mesomorphous, and I was picked to be kind of a spokesperson for Synthol. As a matter of fact, the Pump and Pose from Chris Clark. And there was actually a picture of me on there, and I had Synthol in my delts and as well in my biceps. So I used Chris Clark's Pump and Pose, and it did make my arms bigger, make my shoulders bigger. Did it give me a smoother appearance? Absolutely. Did you get inflammation from injecting this stuff over and over again into the body part? Was it painful? Absolutely, it was painful. It was very painful. Did it give a weird, unnatural look? Absolutely. There was nothing really good about it. Okay? Now, as part of this sponsorship for having my picture with the Synthol, at the time I was the only one who was willing to step out and say, I use this stuff. Like, everybody's hiding about it. Like Ernie Taylor had it in his triceps. Certain people had it in different body parts, but they weren't saying anything about it. They were just trying to get people to believe that they had these great body parts. And it made my shoulders bigger, made my biceps bigger while I was using it. So I was like, yeah, here, I use it. Put my picture up there. So, I mean, I used it probably for about 6 months or so. And that whole bullshit about it building solid muscle, Rich Piana, whatever his name is right. It doesn't build solid muscle. It doesn't help you stretch the fascia. It doesn't do anything. And I'm not even so sure that the oil itself has much to do with it as much as it does with the benzyl alcohol and stuff that's a muscle irritant that keeps the product sterile, that's in the oil, that causes irritation in the muscle and causes it to get inflamed. You have this big inflammation that, it looks red, puffy, sort of the touch, bloated. Excuse me, it doesn't look right. That big peak and stuff and those weird muscles that you saw in the guys in the 90s was something called escaline. It was a French drug that Nutolil, I think, is the one that's around now, or recently it was around. But they use it like in little babies to, if you have to do surgery on one of their organs or something, they inject it into that and it expands it. So back in the 90s, guys were injecting that all over their bodies, increasing their body parts, but it gave it a hard, still full look. As opposed to the Synthol, excuse me, gives it a round, full, obnoxiously bloated look, like Nasser's delts and stuff, and Marcus Rule, and those guys look weird. They don't look normal, they look weird. So, Marcus Del Rey, I hope this explains a little bit to you. And as far as like being husky, I mean, I'm not shredded, but you can clearly see everything is pretty well defined in my arms, which just bad lighting, not a big deal. So, for you guys to know the truth, there it is. I've used Synthol. I admit to it. I was a poster boy for a little while, and I do know what it's like speaking from experience and not a book or not an interview and not I heard someone did this and not I heard someone did that, but actual use. Bios3training@gmail.com. Leave the comments down below. www.bios3training.com is the blog. And we're out. Don't inflate your biceps with pump and pose.